Hello and welcome, I'm Min Kobayashi, and today I'm going to be talking about the books I'm going to be reading in January of 2019. I'm really excited. I did really well on reading physical books in December, and I'm really hoping that trend is going to continue. As much as I do really want to read the books on my shelves, there's a few library books that I really want to desperately read, which are primarily going to be these books. Kingdom of the Blazing Phoenix by Julie C. Dow. This is an Eastern Asian retelling of Snow White. It is the second in the series. The first one was setting up the evil queen Chiffon, and this one is about Jade, who is her stepdaughter. I have thoughts based on it because I've already actually finished this book. I finished on the second, but I will be talking about it later on in my wrap-up, but until now, be mystified in it. What I will say is that the first book is absolutely amazing, and there is mixed reviews on this one, but I do really think that it has beautiful writing. Second of all, we have Wild Card by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is one of my new favorite authors. I read the majority of her works in 2018, and I am really excited to pick up this sequel. Currently, I'm about 2 hours into the audiobook, and I am enjoying it, although it is getting a little bit romance heavy for my loving. But it is the story of Amika Chen, who lives in this futuristic world where virtual reality has taken over the world, and she's a bounty hunter who gets herself into the beginning of these champion games, and then she goes on this mission, and it's a very interesting story with a lot of morality and conversation about that. I'm also going to be reading another Marie Lu book. I am going to be continuing on with the Legend series. This is her first series ever, and I do think that her later series definitely show how much she's grown as a writer, but I am really excited to dive into this world again. I have started the audiobook before, but I didn't get into it, so I'm excited to be able to pick it up again. This is the story of June and Day. June is a very, very gifted soldier and prodigy, and Day is a very dangerous criminal, and they meet in a mysterious dystopian future. The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stratter. I have been sleeping on this series so much. It is a series that I wanted to read forever, and I picked up the first book in November of 2017. Yes, over a year ago, and I thought it was really, really good, and now I'm just getting to it. It is the story of Blue, and she has a very mysterious, very witchy family, and she goes with her aunt in order to see these people, and you don't normally see ghosts unless you're special like her Aunt Neve, or it is the person you're going to kill or your true love. And she sees this boy, and then later she meets him in real life and is very confused which one he is, because this means he's going to die in the next year. I have Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. I should have looked up the plot for this one. I have regrets now. Nnedi Okorafor is an incredible author who does African futurism very fantastically. I read the entirety of her Binti trilogy last year, and I grew more and more in love with it as I read it, and I'm really excited to read this. I believe it has to do with a 12-year-old girl who is a witch. That is all I remember. I haven't looked at the plot in forever. It came on my holds, and I was so excited to read it. I'm terrible at this. I should know how to describe this. Sky in the Deep. It was a really popular book in 2018, and I think that it actually started to get some negative reviews. It isn't super long, and it is one that I'm really excited to dive into. It'll be quick read and learn how to have this world that so many people fell in love with. I believe that it is a story about a woman who finds out that her dead brother is fighting on the other side of the war, which is definitely haunting. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I read Strange Redeemer this fall, and I thought it was lovely, if a little bit didn't completely grab my attention and complete love and fascination, but it did have beautiful writing. Strange the Dreamer is a story about Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian, and he goes on a quest to find the city of Weep, this city that was once rumored to be the city of the gods, and has been deserted and has become just a myth in a long time. It is quite slow to begin and has very lyrical writing, so if that's not what you want, then I might not recommend it, but it is definitely, I think, worth reading. I don't think it is the best book in the world, but Muse of Nightmares just sounds like the most beautiful title ever, and I'm really excited to be able to continue and complete the story. And then I have Looking for Alaska. This is my John Green book that I did not finish in 2018. I wanted to read all my unfinished John Green books, and I didn't even finish this one. This one is sad. This is a story of Pudge, whose real name is Miles, and he goes to a boarding school and he meets this girl named Alaska Young, and he is transfixed by her, and it's just his experience of loving last words and being a nerd. I am about less than 100. I'm like 80 pages in and have been since summer, and I would really like to finish this book soon and be able to have that completed thought, especially since it is becoming a TV show, which I, again, prefer contemporaries in forms of TV shows rather than books normally, so I think that it will be delightful doing that. And I am so excited for this. Sneak peek at my December haul, Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. I can't even describe this book because it's freaking 1,200 pages long. It has so many different points of view. If you don't know what this is, watch the musical, read Wikipedia. It is about Valjean, a man who is in prison for trying to save his sister's child and stealing some bread, and is in prison for 20 years. And then it's his life of trying to live free from his banner of being a criminal, and Javert, who is convinced that men should not commit crimes and get away with them. He was born in a jail, and that gave him a very unique perspective on crime and good and evil, and he believes that someone once fallen is never redeemed. And it's a very interesting book on morality and complex of characters, and there's so many other plot lines that I'm just not sharing, but I have wanted to read this since I was 15 years old, and I'm so excited that I finally have a copy of it. It is such a beautiful copy of it. I am not going to be completing this book because there's no way I'm reading 1,200 pages this month of just that book. But I am really excited to kind of chip away at it as the year goes on, and I'm hopefully going to be finishing it in the next few months. Okay, I saw this in chapters and I was so psyched, and then when I saw it in the library, I couldn't not get it. Verily a New Hope. This is a Shakespearean version of Star Wars. I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm willing to be redeemed. I know that majority of my my oblivience towards Star Wars comes from the fact that I watched it when I was like 15, and a lot of the things that make it unique and things have since become tropes, as well as it's really old-fashioned filming and effects and stuff, which makes it quite cringy to watch. And the acting isn't always fantastic, but I'm excited to read it in this form and see if I can redeem Star Wars. I cannot wait for this. Well, I can't wait because I've already started it. But Shadowcaster by Cinda Williams-Chima. Cinda Williams-Chima is one of my favorite authors of all time, and the Seven Realms series is fantastic. And I read Flamecaster in December, and it was incredible. This is a sequel to it. This follows the story of, how do I explain this without spoilers? It is a land of a queendom. His older sister is killed prior to the beginning of the novel, and his father is killed 2 chapters into the novel. And he runs away to really deal with the grief and become a healer, and also try to take revenge on the nation and the world that has taken so much of his beloved away. And then it also follows the characters of Jenna, who is this girl with a mysterious mage mark on her back and an unknown destiny, which it begins with her things. This is how the day of Riley's death began, like every other day. And it is a fascinating book. I have 2 other characters which don't appear until later on that also have points of views that are my favorites. I think. Definitely my favorites. I don't know, I love Ash as well. Anyways, I'll talk more about Flamecaster in my wrap-up. And then as well, I also have Stormcaster. I have no doubt that I'm going to finish that book and want to pick up this book. Family is forever, especially when they're immortal. Chaos of Stars by Kiersten White. It is about a girl who's the daughter of Egyptian gods. I don't know that much about it. I'm really excited. I have never really heard anyone talk about it. It has a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, and I can't wait to read it because Kiersten White is one of my favorite authors. And also she shares a name with me, so you know. Tell me if you read any of these books and what your thoughts were, which books you think I should read first, and have a fantastic day. Happy reading and writing. Bye.